We are in the Barrier in Florence in the numerous portrait rooms. This is a building that was used for the judicial purpose, now is a museum. And it holds Donatello David, one of the most important sculptures of early Renaissance. Important because it has been the first freestanding nude sculpture from the classical antiquity. What we are seeing here is a return to ancient Greek and Rome's love of body as respect for the body. Donatello looked back in ancient Greek and Roman sculpture also for the position David is standing in. The position of the contrapposto, which is buried in the legs forward where the weight is placed on one leg, the other leg is bent. And the figure has a sense of movement. In the Renaissance, this figure looked remarkably alive, given the way that medieval sculpture had looked for so long. It was first seen in the 1460s in the Medici Garden. Though we are not exactly sure who commissioned it, it's likely that it was Medici. It's really important for us to remember that to the Florentian people, this wasn't just King David from the Bible. David in the Bible story defeated his enemy, even though he is the underdog. He defeated his enemy with God's help. The Florence people felt very much identified with David because, like David, they had defeated their enemy, the Duke of Milan, in this early 15th century with the help of God. In fact, they felt blessed and chosen by God and were the hero of the ancient Roman family. And so the subject of David represented Florence, the Florentian family. So Goliath, in a sense, took one of the role of Duke of Milan. Milan was significantly stronger than Florence, which was mercantile culture, as opposed to the military power. And Florence was, of course, republic, whereas Milan was an autocracy. That is, it had a singular, and so David became a symbol of the Florence Republic. When the Medici were run out of town, the sculpture was actually taken to the Signoria, that is, to the town hall, and made a public sculpture. And so there is really the sense of the investment of this sculpture in this history. Medici was appropriating that for themselves. So here in the sculpture is this embodiment of the promise of long rule. So they are sort of identifying themselves as the city of Florence. Identifying themselves with usefulness, with King David, and with all. That's great about the Florentian Republic. Though this is a sculpture that's about war, the symbols are clearly about David and peace, and Medici and peace.